Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Reata Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown, and I'm excited to be with you guys here today on Motivational Monday. And before I get going on Motivational Monday, I want to tell you about this horse behind me. This is Lovely. She's a 4-year-old Arabian mare that came to me, and she's had about a year of training actually. And she went to a new owner, and her owner took her up to some trails up in Flagstaff, and she just doesn't feel totally comfortable on her. The mare, Lovely, gets nervous when she gets by herself or she gets behind other horses, and she's not very confident as far as loping forward, especially out on the trail. And so she came to me for a month, and we're going to put some time into her. And today's just been groundwork. We didn't even saddle her today because we've been working on some flag work and some stick and string work, a lot of desensitizing, some sensitizing, just getting her to be less reactive. She is kind of a reactive horse. We did a lot of around pinning work too for about a half an hour before I got her haltered and started working with her on desensitizing and sensitizing. So the groundwork in the round pin is also sensitizing work. But that we've had a good session this morning. I look forward to seeing a lot of progress with her. Being the Arabian she is, she's probably not sure what bloodline she has. She's a registered Arabian, but she is a beautiful Arabian, and she's quite sensitive. So that's the main challenge that I have with her, and then she gets a little irritable too. And I don't know if that's being a mare or just her personality as an Arabian like she is. So anyway, she's a beautiful horse and going to be a lot of fun to work with for the next month. And today for Motivational Monday, I wanted to talk about courage. And some of you may know the story of Bethany Hamilton. And Bethany Hamilton in 2003, she was a 13-year-old teenager, one of the best surfers in the world. And she was surfing out in Kauai, Hawaii. And she was surfing outside one morning, and as she usually did. And this time there was a 14-foot tiger shark that attacked her and her surfboard and ended up biting a huge chunk of the surfboard off and taking off, I think it was her left arm, most of her left arm close to her shoulder. So Bethany Hamilton, she was barely lived through that situation, and you can imagine the kind of terror that she might feel. I had to bump on Lovely just a little bit because she went to nip at my shoulder. But you can imagine the terror that she would feel after going through an experience like that and being attacked by a shark and I'm gonna back her up a little. She's getting a little too aggressive there. But the terror that she would have felt going back into the ocean and back on a surfboard, and a lot of people would have just hung up the surfboard and tried to do something else. But at 13 years old, just a month after her accident, she went back out onto the water and started surfing again. And during that accident, she lost about 60% of her blood and almost died. And luckily, a friend of hers was able to put his t-shirt around her arm and tie off with a tourniquet and save her life, barely. But she lost so much blood, she was able to recover enough to go back and surf again in a month. Now, I can imagine that when she went back to surf, she was not comfortable. There's no way she could have felt comfortable getting back out on the ocean, knowing that there are other tiger sharks out there and potentially that could attack her. And so when I think about courage, I think about Bethany Hamilton, and there's a lot of stories like that I think about when I consider being courageous and what I can do to be more courageous. And Bethany Hamilton said this about courage. She said, "Courage isn't that you're not afraid, but courage is being afraid and doing it anyway, or being scared to death and doing it anyway." And that's Bethany Hamilton. And she went on to be a world champion surfer, and she's one of the greatest surfers to walk the planet right now. And she still surfs in her late 20s, I think. And what a great example that she is of a courageous human being who went through such trauma and came back and became and continued to be great and live her passions. So I know there's a lot of people that go through accidents riding horseback or being on or around a horse, and then it's hard to get back in the saddle. It's hard to continue to work with their horses. But if you can show some courage in the face of fear and do it anyway, even if you're afraid. And sometimes it takes a coach. Sometimes it takes somebody who knows what they're doing and who can judge the horse and make sure that the horse is doing what he should be doing or she should be doing, and then coach you through that. That's something that we do here at Reata Horsemanship and Lady Horse Boss as well. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you remember the story of Bethany Hamilton and her courageous, the courageous way that she acts in her life when she goes out and surfs and continues to be a champion surfer in spite of the fact that she was attacked by a shark. Hope we can all be courageous like her, and courageous like a lot of there are many stories. The men and women that serve in the United States military, and the men and women that serve in the police forces, especially today, they have a very dangerous job, and they show courage every day, and I appreciate them and appreciate the courage that they have to continue to work to protect us and to protect the freedoms that we have here in the United States of America. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.